Two, one. Well, hello, Lisa.
Well, hello. Oh, you forgot to say on the East Coast.
Oh, hello, Lisa on the East Coast.
Well, thank you. Hello, Sharon on the West Coast. I was waiting for that.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, yes, I am Sharon on the West Coast.
And I am Lisa on the East Coast. And together we are Coast
Coast
Beauty.
to coast.
Beauty. I
Yes.
jumped out right there. You can see I'm in a hurry today.
You're in a hurry.
I
So,
am.
yes, welcome, welcome, welcome to Coast Beauty. As we said, I'm Sharon Davis on the West Coast and Lisa Washington on the East Coast. And we are here to give you some tips and advice and encouragement all along the way of life to those who want to live a better life.
Yes.
What are we talking about today, Lisa?
We are talking about vacations. We're going to talk about why you need to take a vacation, how to start the planning, and how to document it so that the memories will stay with you for life. Because I tell you, I advise everybody make memories. Just make lots and lots and lots of memories.
Yes, memories are very, very important. Um, because you they're just never go away. I mean, amazing how much a memory carries a scent, a feeling, just
Mm-hmm.
the emotions of it all. It's just
Yeah,
awesome.
it is.
So I want
Sharon.
to put you and let you talk about your vacation.
Not yet. I told you before we went live that I moved from the computer to the cell phone, and now I realize I need to plug this thing up. So I apologize, but you talk while I grab a cord. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Well, those things happen from time to time, but we will roll with it. Yes. So we're talking about vacations. Lisa's going to share with us her vacation. I'm going to talk a little bit about why vacations are necessary, why vacations are absolutely imperative for your well being and good health. And we're going to throw in a little bit of information to lead into next week when we are talking about ending 2017. I'm feeling that sometimes we actually miss a step in preparing for the next year. So I'm going to tell you more about that later. Hopefully, Lisa gets back in here with her cord and we'll continue on. But yeah, she's back now, and we're going to bring her back in and let her talk about vacations. Hit it, Lisa.
Vacation. Yeah, vacations. Okay. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so this came about because we're getting a lot of questions. I'm known for many years as documenting my vacations and putting them on Facebook and other social media outlets. And we started getting a lot of questions about how can you take so many vacations? How do you decide where to go? I wish I could do it. Mostly we get, I wish I could do it. I wish I could afford it. So I'm going to just talk about that for a minute. In case you haven't seen it, last week, my family and I were on vacation. And we were on vacation. There was a group of a little over 30 of us, family and friends. And we went on a 8-day cruise. And the year before, we did the same thing to a different location and documented. And we got the same questions. And so while we were on this vacation, we chose 3 possible spots for next year. So here is some advice that I have for vacations. The first thing is I wouldn't try it without an agent. Now I know a
Mm,
lot of people do. I know there are a lot of sites out there where if you go look for one thing, they offer you the whole package. You know, if you go to TripAdvisor or you go to one of those places that sell discount airline tickets, they're going to offer you packages. But I will say this: everybody and their grandmother has Photoshop these days. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
there are apps out there that can Photoshop anything. Okay, and so that beautiful hotel room, or that beautiful ship, or that beautiful whatever it is that you see on those websites, oftentimes it looks nothing like that when you get there, especially when you go onto a site that is offering bargain basement prices. So an agent oftentimes travels, they work with other agents, they have some kind of guarantee. Sometimes they're associated with huge travel agencies, sometimes direct sales travel agency, and sometimes just traditional. So they have a lot of people behind them, and the places that they send you, they want to keep that business, and so they're less likely to bait and switch. Okay, you get hooked in.
Right, right.
Get hooked in with a picture on a website, and then when you get there, they be like, "Well, you're here now. Deal with it." So, my first advice is to get an agent, and then the second thing is between you and the agent, you can decide on a location. This is planning. You can decide on a location, and sometimes your location is based on budget. Okay, so you got to decide a budget. And then you decide who you're going to go with. Now, me, I've been traveling long enough to know that when it's just you and maybe one other person, that's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure to be entertained and to entertain. For instance, if my husband and I go on vacation, just the two of us, it's nice, but it's also more pressure because there's only one other person there. And, if you feel like chilling and the other person feels like, dancing and going to do something energetic and fun, there's a jockeying there. You've got to have a lot of back and forth. But if you're traveling in a group and you feel like chilling, there's somebody else for your partner to go with. Or if you feel like going and he feels like chilling, then it's the opposite. So those are my top points right there. But the number one point is plan your money, which means start saving. Start paying on it and start saving your spending money early. So I know for me, we'll put a down payment in December, no later than January. This has been for years. And then we pay on it all year. And then we go with the goal to be finished by September. Then you get your airfare if you need it, and then your spending money, and you're done. So those are my tips. We're going to elaborate on some of those a little bit more, but now I'm going to pass it to Sharon. And I know you have some things you want to add, Miss Sharon.
Well, me, looking at the holistic view of that, is that you have to look at vacations as a way of maintaining good health physically and mentally, because you need to separate things in your life. You need to have compartments that you can actually put into place to support your busy lifestyle. I mean, let's face it, we are busy people. We are never unplugged. And that's one of the things that I used to with my kids is, no cell phones. I mean, the laptops weren't really in when my kids were little, but because of the business I had and the position I had with during that time, I had a laptop. I had a one of those big old suitcase cell phones I have to drag around. But yeah, you have to unplug. You have to unplug. Turn off the cell phones. Turn off all the things. Even my husband and I've gone up to into the mountains and no TV, nothing. I mean, it was the best time. The best time. But in terms of your health and your well-being, you have to make time to do just that, unplug. And when I say unplug, I don't just mean from, the digital things, but unplug from problems, unplug from stress, unplug from people who create that stress in your life.
Yes.
Yeah. And don't take them with you. Don't vacation with those people.
No, don't take them with you.
But there's
I had
studies out of, I'm sorry,
no. Go ahead.
there's studies out of several universities that are well known for looking at how vacations impact your life. And one of the things that they say is that you have to have some downtime from your vacation, is that people will schedule their vacations to get off the plane and go to work the next day or an hour later even. You need a time to withdraw, just relax and mellow out from your vacation itself, especially if it is a high intense thing. If you're out zip lining and you're rock climbing and this, that, and the other, surfing, you need to have some time for your body to actually relax, get your adrenaline down before you go back into that work environment, or you actually, negate all of the positive things that you did by being on vacation.
I wholeheartedly agree. I know you generally we'll leave on a Friday, sometimes a Thursday to go on vacation, and we're going the whole next week, and then come home on Friday or Saturday, usually Saturday, and have Sunday to just unwind and do nothing before hitting the work week again on Monday. So, and I mean, if you have to come back off vacation, you're absolutely right. It feels like you never went on vacation if you come back and jump right into it without having time to do a system. It's almost like a system dump. That adrenaline
Yeah.
that you're on, that high that you're on when you're on vacation, your system needs to dump some of that out and even out, because you go from down here when you're at work to up here when you're on vacation, and if you try to jump right back into work, that's a big jump. But if you have a day to wind down, it kind of evens it out a little bit, and I totally agree with that. And what you said about not taking the people that cause you stress with you, I'm gonna say this. Um, Sometimes the person that causes you stress might be a spouse or a significant other. So if you're gonna go on vacation, you have to come
Do
to
tell.
and especially, it doesn't mean that you don't have a good relationship or a good solid marriage or a good solid relationship. It's just that two different people are two different styles. I know for me, I like to go on vacation to relax. My husband likes to go on vacation to see everything, do everything, taste everything, experience everything. And if I try to keep up with him the whole time, I'm exhausted. But if he tries to do it my speed, he's bored to tears. So we early in our marriage, we know we we had to come to an agreement that when we go on vacation, we'll go and do something, and then I'll get a chance to rest, and then we'll go do something else, and then I'll get a chance to rest. So we have to come to an agreement, or else that stress could be, you take that vacation right on stress with you, right on with you. So and it's not supposed to be that way. It is absolutely supposed to be something that is good for your health, mentally and physically, because stress kills. So so if you don't have a way to release some of that, at least something to look forward to, I'm gonna tell you something, life would be so much less enjoyable if you didn't have a vacation or two or something to look forward to. And I know for me, I can go all year long knowing that, when vacation time comes, I can just leave it all behind. Just get on a plane or bus or a car and leave it behind. Just shut the door and leave it. So I absolutely love it. So
And
Adrian, what do you
it
think about?
doesn't have to be a 10-day cruise. It can be, a couple of day weekends. My husband used to make comments on Friday when we'd see everybody rushing out of town in their little Winnebagos or with their little boats behind them and everything. It's like, it's only 3 days. Why even go? But no, those 3 days are enough to just energize you. In fact, taking short little vacations are actually what's recommended, is to take frequent little vacations like that.
Yeah, so long weekend. I like them both. I know for me, some I do both. I absolutely do both. And the short, long weekend vacations are enjoyable. They help. They work. They absolutely invaluable. Um, but to some of the things that you get when you do a longer vacation is some of the things you mentioned earlier. And I'll just use a cruise. I don't work for the cruise line. When we go on vacation, we have an agent that we've been using for many years, and before that, a different agent that we use for many years. But what I find is you can go on a cruise, you can experience the zip lining, you can experience the rock climbing, you can experience the snorkeling, or you can go mountain climbing on trails. There's so many excursions. And once you get to the places that you're going, and there's so much to do on a ship that it will blow your mind. If you've never been on one, you should see the itinerary. It's mind boggling. So you get to make a lot of new memories, and you get to experience a lot of new experiences that you've never experienced before. You can take cooking classes. I know that there's a cooking channel special on board giving cooking classes. You can take wine tasting classes
Mhm.
and winery classes, and the list just goes on and on. So when you go on vacation, when you book your own vacation and you go to a hotel in a city, you have to then also book the entertainment. You have to, for instance, we go to Vegas, Sharon. Both you and I have gone to Vegas several times. So when we go to Vegas, we in a hotel, then we have to find things around there to do. There are helicopter rides over the Grand Canyon. There are trips to the Hoover Dam. You can take tours of the local hotels. There's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm not the Hall of Famer, but several places there that are famous for rock and roll. And there are other things that you can do. There is a place where you can go digging for minerals. And so it's not just that you get a hotel room and you say, oh, I'm going on vacation. No, it takes more planning than that. Now, for instance, if you're going to be on vacation for 5 days, well, what are you going to do each day? Trust me, sitting in a hotel room with the TV on is just like being at home, sitting in the bedroom with the TV on. You just paying for the privilege. So if you don't have the money to go and do these things, then it's a waste of time and energy. You actually will come back more stressed and in debt. So it has to be planned out. That's why you need someone who can help you. Oftentimes, who a travel agent can help you. She can say, "Well, here's a list of things you can do while you're there." And you can plan them out by the days. On Monday we're going to go do this, and on Tuesday we're going to go do that, and on Wednesday on and so forth. If you're on you can also go to all-inclusive resorts. Now those places are very nice, very expensive, but very nice. I wouldn't say very expensive because they do have packages too. And just like everything else, you make a down payment and then you pay for it up until the time, a little while before you go. Unless, of
And
course,
actually, sometimes being all inclusive, it ends up not being more expensive because you're not paying for your trips, you're not paying for your entertainment,
drink.
you're not paying for all those extras.
Yes. So all the inclusives are some is something that you can consider. And so let's just look at what we talked about. We talked about planning a vacation in a city that you want to go to, and seeing some of the local sites in that area. Then we talked about booking a cruise and experiencing all the things that are on the ship, plus all the things to the locations that you go to. And then there are some all-inclusive locations where you can go and everything. I mean, drinks, food, entertainment, everything is all-inclusive. So honestly, the more expensive version is the one where you book a hotel and you have to plan all your other stuff. It usually is the most expensive unless you sit in that hotel doing nothing. And or walking around the city looking gets old really fast. I promise you it gets old really fast. So those are some options. But Sharon, you have something to say, and I want to talk about how to finance it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm known for doing some my kids were younger, virtual vacations, and it would just be me. And I would tell them I'm on vacation this weekend. I put a sign on my bedroom door on
Mhm.
vacation. didn't seem to work very well because they would knock on the sign. But I would put a little fan over my heating on my heating unit so that I'm getting a nice, gentle, warm breeze. Put on the little music that you'd hear in Hawaii. I mean, yeah, I'm a
Oh my,
little I'm a little goofy. Okay, I'll do those little silly things, but but the point is just allowing your senses to just let go and be relaxed. That is the virtual. You're looking at me crazy, like, what are you talking? Yeah, and it is very cheap, but very effective.
I
It's
imagine it is.
yeah. Okay.
Okay. I haven't tried that one. I'm gonna have to try that one. Um, there is something that I have done, and I've documented this too, and that's something called a staycation.
Yes.
Okay, so a staycation is a vacation where you stay at home and you take advantage of the things in the city where you live.
Right.
Now, if you this became really popular because of parents having children and needing to get away for a little while, but not having the time or the money to get too far. And
Right.
so, yes, my husband and I have done a staycation a few times, several times here in Atlanta. You know what? There's so much I bet you, I know for a fact in Atlanta, there's so much here to do that you could do staycations 3 or 4 times a year for years and years and years and not see everything. And it's constantly changing. And I'll bet that it's the same in your city if
Oh
you were
well,
truly.
this is the tourist capital of the world, of course. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
you can book those little tour things, buses, travel clubs and so forth, and you go and do something different each weekend. Yeah, there's lots of little packages, and seeing the city that you live in from the perspective of a visitor,
Tourists.
it
Yeah.
it gives you so much more appreciation for your little town. I mean,
Oh
yeah,
yeah. Oh yes. There's something called a city pass that a lot of large cities have.
right,
Um, and I know for me here in Atlanta, I mean, we have the botanical gardens, we have the aquarium, we have oh my goodness, several museums, and there are always traveling exhibits. I remember one year, the exhibit, King Tut's exhibit was here, and I did not get to go see it. And I kept saying, "Oh my goodness, I got to get to see that! I got to get to see that! I got to get to see that!" And I was not able to do it. So if I hear that King Tut's exhibit is back in Atlanta, I'm gonna try to get there. There was a year when there was a traveling exhibit for the Titanic. It was some of the pieces that they had actually brought up from the Titanic, and it was going around the country. And I kind of missed that one too. I got a smaller one, but the big one I missed. But there's always moving things. All these museums, they loan each other exhibits,
right,
and even the zoos loan each other different animals and different exhibits, and even aquariums. And so there's always going to be something new. There's always going to be a place where you can make memories. And there's always going to be an opportunity for you to get away. Now, if you have a lot of kids, like I did, 5, sometimes I had to break those kids up. One child went to this babysitter, one went to that one went to that one. Because let's face it, there's very few people that's going to take 5. But some vacations, they went with us. But sometimes it needs to be just you and Boo, okay?
yeah.
Sometimes just you and Boo, and that's it, and the kids do not get to go. And it needs to be more
And
than
that's a good question too.
yeah.
Is what do you think? Are you in favor of spouses taking separate vacations?
I've never done it. Separate vacations. Now we do separate trips because I travel with business. He travels with business, but we've never actually set out to have a separate vacation. I don't know. It's never come up. I'm not sure if I like that. But you know what? Different strokes for different folks. If y'all want, if you know what, if it works for you, do you? I don't think
Right.
it'll happen in my marriage, but hey.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my husband and I still kind of enjoy each other's company enough that we would,
Mm-hmm.
kind of strange. But I'm sure if something came up that he wanted to do, like with his brothers or something, that he
Yeah.
would. But yeah,
Yeah.
we
But
enjoy
you
each
know,
other's
my
company.
husband, he went to New York a couple of weeks ago without me. And he went to Charleston a month or so ago without me. So, and then I go places without him. But as far as planning a vacation just to get away from each other, I don't think we have gotten to that point. We still like each other a lot, pretty well to not plan something like that. But hey, I will never say what's what's taboo and what somebody shouldn't do, because again, everybody's relationship, everybody's journey is their own. And
Right.
so I don't want to try to shame anybody into thinking that what you want to do is not good, and I won't let anybody shame me into thinking the way I do it is not right, because this is my life.
Exactly.
Yours is yours.
Exactly. You know what you need. You know what's best for you and what you need.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess if you're not getting along with your spouse, maybe a separate vacation is a good idea to just
Might be a
have
good
that
idea
space.
to to make to just touch on that. Yeah, sometimes if you need to get away and think, you know do what you need for your health and your mental and physical health and well-being. That's something you have to make the decisions on. And if you decide that getting away for a little while to get your mind straight and think, and not have somebody else in your head, if that's what you need, then that's what you need, then you need to plan it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I must say that I enjoyed all the pictures of the Washingtons having their getting their groove on. It was you guys really know how to party.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
We have
Uh,
a few people on. I'd like to just welcome you. You are here on Coast to Coast Beauty, and this is Lisa Washington on the East Coast over there, and Sharon Davis on the West Coast. Coast to Coast Beauty. And this week we are talking, the topic is vacations and what benefits there are for having a vacation and how to finance it, how to plan it, and all of that. I have to say hello to Anna, my grandmother, who's always going to be on. She's been on the whole time. So if you're here, drop us an emoji. Let us know you're here. If you're catching us on the replay, please hashtag replay and let us know you were here so we can come back and shout you out. But right now, I want to just kind of segue into, well, let me ask you first, Lisa, was there anything else you wanted to add before I segue into?
yes, there's one thing. As I said, most people say, "How can you afford?" I've had people say, "Oh, you must be making a lot of money because how can you afford all those vacations?" Or, "You must be, y'all must be rolling in dough." And the answer is no. The answer is years ago I discovered something called savings clubs. And I'm no more disciplined at saving money than the next person. I'm gonna just confess that's something I struggle with, totally struggle with. But I have discovered vacation clubs, and they also call them birthday clubs. They call them Christmas saving club. They call them all kind of different things. But these are savings club where you pick a date that you can take the money out, and you can't take it out until then. And it gives you the discipline that you don't have naturally. So if you were to put $20 a week, there are 52 weeks in a year. If you start now and put $20 a week, 20 times 50, that'll tell you, what is that? I'm terrible at math. But what? That's $1,000 right there for you to take vacation with. And so somebody who thinks I can't take vacation, it's just a matter of planning. Okay, it's just a matter of planning. And if you're able to put $50 a week away, you got a couple $1,000s that you can use for vacation. Or what would happen if you paid $20, 20 $25 a week on your package, and then put another one away for your spending money? I tell you, I've been on vacation dead broke. No lie. I've been on vacation and it was like I'm praying to get back home. I've done it. Yes. In the early years of our marriage, Kenneth and I would say, we'll get there. We'll figure out how to get back. Yeah, we rode like that. But I've also been on vacation where I didn't have to worry about money. It's a totally different experience when you can go on vacation and you don't have to say how much is it. Okay. Trust me, at least once in your life, I want everybody to experience going on vacation. And if you see something and you know, within reason, you don't have to say, oh, how much is it? And do some calculations or check the bank account. It's totally different. Or if you already know what but you know, if you walk in there and you says, I got $2,000 that I can blow on this vacation, it's totally different than walking in and with 200. It's just different. So the savings is very this I've done both. The savings is very, very important, and the planning is the thing. The planning is the thing. So my final thing is we've got it narrowed down to either a Hawaii vacation next year or what was the other one? Oh my goodness, I forgot. Alaska. We voted on this vacation where we want to go next year. So Hawaii came up and Bermuda came up, going to New York and cruising to Bermuda and a few other places, going to Hawaii and cruising around the Hawaiian Islands, and then late at the last minute, a Mexican Riviera vacation. And just in case you don't know what the Mexican Riviera is, Google it. Google it. It's a very, very beautiful area. And so cruising around to those different places would be totally memorable and a great place to make memories. So that was my point. Don't just leave the money to chance. Go ahead and start planning the money right now. And you can have a beautiful, 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 exciting, fun, stress-free vacation in 2018. Now,
Well, okay, so segueing in, next week we'll be talking about shutting down 2017. But I've kind of gotten this idea that I think people miss a step when they're doing that they actually leave out this major step of looking at what happened in the year that's going out. And how you do that is this. You take, well, how I do it is this. I take my calendar, I take my journals, I get my cell phone, because my cell phone is going to have my my history of everything that I've done, either in terms of with pictures, with notes, with appointments, and so forth that's scheduled. And you look at what it was you were planning to achieve during this last year and what you did achieve. And the reason that's important is because two reasons. We as women, you know, we're more negative on ourselves than we need to be. And oftentimes we don't take into consideration what we have accomplished. So by looking back at those things, we can, one, recognize and celebrate ourselves for the things that we did accomplish, and look at what we didn't accomplish. Now, that's not negative either, because just because we didn't accomplish it, we can also take those same tools and look at why we didn't accomplish it and what we need to do to be able to follow through with it. And they can then move into the next year. You know, for kids in school, generally they have some kids will have an individual education plan. Sometimes you'll have individual program plans and so forth. You want to look at what you met and what you didn't meet, and then address them. Why didn't I meet it? And here's how I can, or how did I actually accomplish this and how I did it. So that's a big step, I think, that a lot of times we leave out. We just say, oh, well, 2017's out with the old, let's go into the new. But before you do that, look back and see how great your last year actually has been for you. So I'm giving you guys homework that Lisa and I are both going to do as well. And is to just do that. Go back and look at your greatest hits of 2017 and your bloopers.
And your flops.
Bloopers and flops, yeah. And look at why, what happened, and how can it be rectified over this next year. Because when you're moving into planning for the next year, you want to have all the education that you've actually gained from the previous year to propel you forward. So that's what is going to be going on this week is look at your greatest hits and your bloopers for 2017 and use those as we start planning next week for 2018. Well, actually, we're shutting down. Next week, we're shutting down 2017. So that's why you'll have those, that your homework. You'll
Yes.
have your greatest hits and you'll have your bloopers. And then we'll be able to use those to propel us strongly into 2018.
Yes. Yes. And so I encourage you, please try to be on the next 2 weeks live. I think we're going to bring some good things. And we always try to put a fun twist on everything that we do, even when we tackle serious topics. But I think the next 2 weeks, the next two Fridays will be a great way to shut down one year and start another. And we have no bigger wish than to see you shut it down in a beautiful way that you're proud of and launch the new year in the same manner. So we hope you'll join us.
Yes. So I guess we have come to the end of another successful episode of Coast to Coast Beauty. I'm Sharon Davis on the West Coast.
And I am Lisa Washington on the East Coast.
And we are going to bid you adieu and kiss you out.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you for joining us.